Hello everyone, my name is Bushra Zawawi and I am excited to present to you in collaboration with my colleague Heba Ismail the research project that the Curriculum Development and Instructional Design Department at Fairfax University of America in Virginia, USA has conducted to create a competency-based general education curriculum. Here are the items Hiba and I will cover in this presentation. So first, Hiba will give you a brief background explaining the importance of this research project, the research context, and the three phases of the research project. We will then talk briefly about the method we applied to conduct the research and the results of the three phases. And finally, we will conclude with an outline of the main takeaways from this presentation. Before we dive deep into the research, I would like to start by introducing the research team and the research phases they were involved in. Phases 1 and 2 of the research were conducted by Ms. Heba Ismail, the Director of the Curriculum Development and Instructional Design Department at Fairfax University of America, or FXUA, and Dr. Roy Hinton, the department's subject matter expert in the fields of human development and leadership. Heba is an award-winning learning professional with 10 plus years of experience as an instructional designer. She received her master's degree in instructional design and development from George Mason University and holds a certified professional in talent development (CPTD) credential from the Association for Talent Development Certification Institute. Dr. Ray Hinton is a consultant supporting business, nonprofit, and higher education clients in transforming their operations and achieving organizational goals. He received his PhD in management from Northwestern University, majoring in organizational behavior, and earned his MBA from Pepperdine University. Dr. Hinton recently retired as Associate Dean of Executive Programs in the School of Business at George Mason University. Then I joined the team along with Dr. Maimouna Al-Abri to conduct phase 3 of the research project. I am a senior instructional designer at FXUA. I hold a PhD in learning technologies, design research, and a master's degree in instructional design, both from George Mason University. I have several years of instructional design experience, and I also have several publications focusing on online learning technologies. Dr. Maimouna Al-Abri is a part-time instructional designer at FXUA. She is currently working as an assistant professor in the College of Education at Sultan Qaboos University in the Sultanate of Oman. Dr. Maimouna has her PhD in learning technologies, design research from George Mason University, and a master's degree in learning technology from Griffith University in Australia. As you can see, the research team has the needed knowledge, expertise, and resources to conduct this research project across the three phases. I will now turn to my colleague, Heba, to talk to us about the importance of this research project and provide us an overview of the research context and phases.
Thank you, Dr. Zawawi. So Roy and I were tasked by FXA leadership to design and develop a non-traditional undergraduate curriculum that supports the development of well-rounded students who are capable of competing in the job market and prepared to embark on a journey of lifelong learning. The FXUA president envisioned a curriculum that prepares undergraduate students in any field of study for entry-level leadership positions in the global marketplace, while at the same time helping them obtain the necessary skill set to succeed in their academic programs. As such, Roy and I decided to develop the Learning to Be general education curriculum that shapes students' worldviews as global citizens. We wanted a curriculum that fosters reflection and metacognition, promotes creativity, and contributes to helping students become active in social engagement as accomplished human beings. We knew that this was a massive research undertaking, and thus Roy and I divided it into three phases as you can see on the screen. In phase one, we wanted to concentrate on identifying a list of competencies students need to develop to be leaders of change in any field of study and to be prepared for future careers. After identifying these competencies, we moved to phase two, in which we designed and developed 10 courses that we mapped with the list of competencies. The 10 courses comprise a new division under the General Education Department called Transformative Learning and Leadership in Practice, or TLLP for short. To create a complete undergraduate general education curriculum, however, we needed to have a total of 20 courses. So in phase three, we worked on selecting and refining current general education courses to meet the vision of the Learning to Be curriculum. As I mentioned on the previous slide, to create the Learning to Be curriculum, we first needed to identify a list of competencies students should develop to be leaders of change in any field of study and be prepared for future careers. We also sought a curriculum that embraces the university's five core values of peace, development, community, character, and stewardship. The value of peace means the foundations on which we build collective prosperity, healthy communities, and human fulfillment. The value of development targets this process by which we reach our potential as human beings and societies. The value of community addresses the sense of belonging to something bigger than ourselves, be it global, national, or local. The value of character refers to the expectation that all leaders should make brave decisions in good faith and in a principled way. And finally, the value of stewardship refers to the sense of responsibility and care towards all people and things that depend on us. The research team conducted a qualitative case study that started with months long research reviewing state of the art literature on human development and career planning to identify the needed competencies. This literature review resulted in a list of 14 competencies that we used in our interviews with 14 business leaders. We carefully selected to represent local, regional, national, and international businesses such as MITRE, Cisco, Society for Human Resource Management, or SHRM, and Walmart to gain their feedback about the importance of these 14 competencies to their business. We also asked these business leaders during the interviews to share additional competencies that were not included in the initial list of 14 competencies but are important for new employees to have in their businesses. We asked the participants, meaning the business leaders, to rank the 14 competencies based on the level of importance for the business on a scale from 1 to 3, in which 1 indicates not important, 2 indicates somewhat important, and 3 indicates absolutely necessary for the business. We found that all 14 competencies were, at a minimum, relevant to the business leaders' respective business environments. As such, we used the 14 competencies to guide the development of the 10 TLP courses, which is phase 2 of the Learning to Be curriculum design. And based on the second interview question that asked the business leaders to share the competencies that are important for new employees to have in their businesses, our analysis of this question resulted in 45 new competencies, such as self awareness, integrity, and confidence. As such, we compiled a list of 59 total competencies, the initial 14 competencies, and the 45 new ones, and grouped them into 4 major groups and 9 subgroups, as you can see on the screen. These 59 competencies included the knowledge, skills, and abilities students need to develop and acquire to be leaders of change and compete in the job market. And we use them to guide the design of the 10 TLLP courses, which leads us to phase 2 of this research project. I'll hand it back to my colleague, Dr. Zawawi, now to explain phases 2 and 3.
As Heba mentioned, our goal in phase 2 was to develop 10 courses for the Transformative Learning and Leadership in Practice, or in short, TLLP, our new undergraduate general education division based on the 59 competencies that resulted from phase 1. We applied the ARI model to design and develop these 10 courses. The analysis part of the ARI model consisted of the needs analysis that the team conducted in phase 1 to identify the types of competencies students need to succeed in future careers. Heba and Roy also conducted an analysis of the literature in the field of human development to identify the types of goals and conditions needed to guide the design of the new TLLP courses. This literature review yielded 12 goals and 6 conditions to govern the development of effective courses. In short, the 12 goals are related to helping students develop self awareness of their worldviews, their identities, and assessments of others to foster confidence in declaring their commitment and capacity to learn and to create their future. The conditions, on the other hand, describe the circumstances learners should meet to reach the 12 goals, such as responsibility, insight, and consolation. Then the research team conducted a comprehensive competency mapping exercise before developing the 10 TLLP courses to ensure that these courses are based on the 59 competencies as well as the 12 goals and conditions. So first, they mapped the 59 competencies with the 6 conditions, as you can see on the screen. Then they map the competencies with the 12 goals to make sure that all of the goals align with a handful of competencies. This comprehensive mapping exercise, along with the FXUA's 5 values, which are character, community, development, stewardship, and peace, that Heba and Roy embraced throughout the research project, allowed them to have a clear vision of the TLLP division learning outcomes, as you can see on the screen. From this bottom up approach, the course titles and learning outcomes emerged, which then led to the development of course specific content and resources. After completing the design part of the ADDIE model, the research team transitioned to the development part and created the syllabi for the 10 TLLP courses. And in addition to including a course description in the syllabi as one of the core items, the research team also ensured the inclusion of the competencies associated with each course for faculty to target them in lectures and learning activities, and for students to be aware of the list of competencies each course will help them develop. To accomplish the third phase of the Learning to Be curriculum, the research team needed to identify 10 existing general education courses to meet the university's general education requirement for undergraduate students to complete 42 credits. The task was to select 1 or 2 courses from 6 general education divisions and refine them based on the 59 competencies. The research team targeted courses that support the inclusion of real life applications and promote expanding students' ways of thinking and learning, such as courses on psychology, sociology, and oral communication. As a result, the team selected these 10 courses that you see on the screen to be part of the Learning to Be general education curriculum. When we created the 10 TLRP courses and refined the other 10 general education courses, we first created them for face to face instructions, and then we adjusted the learning activities to accommodate an online asynchronous delivery format. For instance, in the asynchronous method, we relied heavily on VoiceThread to facilitate students' online discussions and asynchronous collaborations. It was important for us to design and develop courses that embrace the teaching strategies of constructivist learning theory and maintain that in the face to face and asynchronous format. So we targeted higher order thinking skills from Bloom's taxonomy to help students develop targeted competencies in an engaging learning environment. For example, we included assignments that ask students to create concept maps and infographics, write reflective papers, collaborate on group presentations, and engage in lively games to review content. We also focused on including observation assignments and self assessments when appropriate to help students develop self awareness and identify their worldviews across different contexts. Many of the learning activities and assignments require students to align new information with previous life experiences as a means of unlearning and discovering their own biases. We also avoided as much as possible the inclusion of final exams and quizzes, especially in asynchronous courses, to eliminate possible test anxieties and avoid overwhelming students with assessment methods that, in many times, don't provide an accurate evaluation of students' learning. In summary, when we started the design of the Learning to Be general education curriculum, we didn't want to create just another set of general education courses that students feel obligated to take for the sake of passing them. Instead, we were passionate about creating a unique curriculum that prepares students to be agents of change no matter where they end up working. We wanted students to really understand the value of these courses in helping them develop the soft skills they will be applying in their next job. And to achieve these goals, we use the guidance of our leadership coupled with the expertise of our team to identify the competencies that laid the foundation of the Learning to Be curriculum. And as we presented in the previous slides, identifying these competencies took months of research between reviewing the state of the art literature and interviewing business leaders. When it was time to design and develop these courses, we applied sound pedagogical strategies to create highly interactive face to face and asynchronous courses. It is important to note here that we didn't stop at the implementation phase of the ADDIE model. We continued to refine these courses based on feedback we gained from faculty and students. Through this presentation, we hope to provide you with a framework for building a competency-based curriculum that you can apply in any learning context. We look forward to your questions and cannot wait to hear how you will apply this framework at your university.